Position.
Julie go on vacation already? Gotcha.
Okay, welcome back. Let's move into commissioners' reports and comments. We'll start with Commissioner Kiefer,
Nothing today.
Commissioner Klein,
Nothing.
Commissioner Barr,
Sir.
and Commissioner Baker. Nothing. Thank you. Reports from county staff. We have any staff in the chambers today to care to provide a report? Okay, any county attorney issues? Mr. Hovis has a report.
President Baker, as we all have heard by now, Hurricane Florence approaches the Atlantic coast, and with that, Governor Hogan has issued an executive order declaring a state of emergency for the state of Maryland. In response to that, our Department of Emergency Services staff, emergency management staff, Public Works, Water Quality, and virtually every county department has been actionized. We are meeting today at 1:30 at Department of Emergency Services to look at our preparedness, to see what we can do to be preemptively ready for any issues that the county may face. Once we gather, determine what we have in place and how we will proceed as this the potential for damage gets closer, we'll be communicating with the citizens of Washington County through leadership, and I'm sure we'll be well prepared for what Hurricane has to offer.
Thank you. Anything else? Mr. Slocum?
Yes, thank you, President Baker. Friday, ESOC Holdings, Dr. Jin, and Mr. Murray, who's here today, met with staff and officials at a welcoming dinner, and in that was a very nice discussion, very promising discussion about the future for Cascade, and meeting Dr. Jin for the first time, that was certainly a welcome event, and with JGBI being there. And Dr. Jin, I'll pass this around, Dr. Jin provided a token of his appreciation, which is a timepiece, which will be kept here safely in Washington County, or perhaps at Cascade. Staff will seek to find a safe location to prominently display the timepiece, and it is very much appreciated and enjoyed by the entire county. So look forward to a promising October with this.
The case, where did they provided the case also?
Miss Tiffany Miller, my assistant, located the case. So,
that'll be
yes.
on display and owned by the county?
Yes, sir. We'll look for a place to prominently and safely display that for everyone to enjoy. Yes. So thank you. There was a discussion of county administrator vehicle for personal use. As a condition of employment, the administrator was provided personal use of county vehicle. However, personal use of a county vehicle creates potential liability, income tax, and perception concerns for both the employer and employee. To address these concerns proactively, the board approved the vehicle stipend in the amount of $1,000 per month. To arrive at the value, AAA studies, expense estimates, and examples of other employers was considered by the board. To be certain the stipend would be a cost savings, or at the very least a cost neutral to the county. The current cost of the administrator's vehicle was calculated and deemed to be approximately $1,108 per month. Consistent with the calculation, the stipend is intended to address all vehicle expense such as finance, sales, gas, sales tax, insurance, maintenance, other anticipated or unanticipated work, and all work-related functions. With the approved change from a county vehicle to a stipend, the administrator will no longer be issued a county vehicle. The vehicle currently issued will be reassigned as needed. The administrator will be responsible to provide a personal vehicle and pay for all vehicle-related expenses. And I don't know if, John, that requires anything formal or not, other than...
Well, we probably should take that. I think the board should do a formal
Anything else to add?
That's all I have.
Okay, we'll need a motion on that recommendation to provide $1,000 per month stipend. And in return, Mr. Slocum will be using his own personal vehicle. No county, you won't be receiving a county vehicle.
No vehicle, no gas, no insurance, no nothing.
Mileage.
No mileage, no.
So you're saying this really breaks down to be neutral or maybe a cost savings.
Correct. According to the calculations, it's 1,108, and there's no escalator in there, so over time, it likely will not increase either.
Okay, we need a motion for that.
So moved.
Motion is second. Any further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? 4-0. Thank you.
And two last things. First of all is Smithsburg, regarding Smithsburg, staff and engineers met Monday to vet the cost schedule and permit considerations discussed by the board and town council last Tuesday. The administrator and design team will present to you an update and findings in the joint meeting next Tuesday hosted by the Smithsburg Town Council. There is an open invitation to any commissioners as well as the town. With your permission, we'll reach out to the town and manager to ask them if they'd like to discuss anything prior to the meeting. We look forward to a very open and transparent relationship. We think we have some very promising and secure results as a result of the discussion with the engineers who have been through this process previously. And the final thing is,
Commissioners okay with that?
okay, thank you. So I or Jim will reach out and we will ask Ms. Smith, town manager, if she'd like to discuss this prior to the council meeting next Tuesday. Thank you. The final thing is, it became apparent to me that Ms. Weaver has been going above and beyond in monitoring social media. She didn't know I was going to say this, but we are going to purchase a software to try to monitor for keywords because it simply is not viable to have a single individual or even a team monitor social media 24/7. She has gone above and beyond to do this already, and I'm simply going to have to ask for your tolerance of some things may not be responded to absolutely immediately, but I will assure you during working hours and even during off hours it will occasionally be monitored. And please, if you see something or if the public sees something, this is a two-pronged request, both from the commissioners. Please advise me, Jim, Danielle by email, telephone, text. We're always available. And if the public sees anything, please, if it's an emergency, call 911. If not, there are appropriate numbers that are posted on our website, and we want to. Social media is often not the best place to approach a public safety matter, so please identify that with 911 first. We have an excellent staff out there that's there 24/7, 365. The other matters we will get back to you as soon as possible. Thank you. And thank you to Danielle.
Thank you, Danielle.
That's all I have.
Okay, last chance for staff comments. Boards and commissions.
We have the Washington County Mental Health Authority wishing to appoint Ms. Connie Twally as an at-large member to serve for her second-year term, two-year term through June 30th of 2021.
Motion to approve. Second.
Motion is second. Any further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? 4-0. Thank you.
For the Board of Zoning Appeals, we ask for Mr. Jay Miller to serve a first full three-year term through May 31st of 2021.
Motion.
So moved. Second.
Motion second. Any further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? 4-0. Thank you.
Hagerstown, Washington County Convention and Visitors Bureau, that they're requesting to appoint Ms. Leslie Hart to serve a first full five-year term through December 31st of 2023.
So moved.
Second.
Motion is second. Any further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? 4-0.
Animal Control Authority of Washington County they're looking to appoint Mr. Clarence Davis to serve a unfulfilled term through October 31st of 2018 as a sworn officer from the Sheriff's Department. Motion?
So moved.
Second.
Motion is second. Any further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? 4-0. So that was for 3 years, 1 month.
That's for 1 month. The second,
Okay, so you go separate, okay.
the second request with regards to the animal control, they are looking for, we would like to also appoint Mr. Clarence Davis to serve an additional first full 3-year term from November 1st, 2018 through October 31st of 2021.
So moved.
Motion is second. Any further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? 4-0.
In addition, the Washington County Environmental Management Advisory Committee are looking to appoint 7 members. We have Rebecca Beecroft and Dennis Cumby to serve an initial 1-year term through September 2019. We're looking for Brendan Elliott and Marie McPherson, Lisa Horn and Brock Shriver to serve an initial 2-year term through August 31st of 2020, and Lisa Ray to serve a first full 3-year term through August 31st of 2021.
So moved.
Second, and along with the second, should we be duly noted that this committee is a reformation of a committee that served.
It is also a combination of what was landfill and sewer.
Okay, that's-
It's, yes.
I mean,
So they used to be distinctly separate. Now they're together.
Okay, motion is second. Any further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? 4-0. Okay, thank you. Okay, citizens' participation. We have any citizens here today care to participate? Okay. I thought she was coming. Okay, over with citizens' participation. Community organization funding, service priority areas for fiscal year 2020. Ms. Buchanan, how are you this morning?
Good, how are you doing?
Good.
As stated, Susan Buchanan here, Director, Office of Grant Management, here this morning requesting a motion to approve the community organization funding service priority areas and the respective available funding amounts as presented or amended today during this meeting. The Community Organization Funding Committee is preparing for the fiscal year 2020 application and review process. As agreed upon, the Board of County Commissioners will annually determine and approve the service priority areas eligible to receive funding consideration. The board shall also set or approve the total available funding that should be dedicated to the established service priority areas. Historically, the board has funded 6 service priority areas, which are arts and culture, domestic violence, families and children, recreation, seniors, and other. These service priorities have encompassed and included all applications received and have not excluded any organization for making application for funding. For the purposes of the committee's fiscal year 2020 considerations, the Washington County's Chief Financial Officer has indicated there's $1.7 million available for distribution. This total is subject to adjustment during the course of the fiscal 2020 budget discussions. It is the recommendation of the county CFO and the Director of Office of Grant Management that the amount of funding made available to each respective service priority area be set as indicated below. Arts and culture, $227,810, 13.4% of the available funds. Domestic violence, $306,900, which is 18%. Families and children, $255,380, 15% of funding. Recreation, $27,000, 1.6%. Seniors at $873,110,000, that's 51.4%. And finally, other, $9,800 at 0.6%. As agreed upon by the board, the committee does have the latitude to move 10% of the approved amounts from one service priority area to another, but each year the funding amount will be reset for the service priority areas and will return to the approved base figure. The fiscal impact of this is dependent upon the funding decisions made by the board during the annual budgetary process. Any decisions made as a result of this discussion will have no immediate fiscal impact. Are there any questions about it?
Yes. When's the first meeting of this group?
The first meeting will be actually this week, Thursday.
Thursday? And are applications still being accepted, or is that deadline passed?
Oh, no, we haven't released the application. The application will be released on the 22nd of September.
There'll be a notice for that.
Yes.
And
That's
one
already been
other
sent out.
question. Anybody on this committee ready to expire with their membership?
We did have one, we have a vacancy on the committee that would be Commissioner Barr's appointee, Mr. McKinley. He resigned, and we're in the process of getting that taken care of.
Thank you.
Any other questions?
Okay, any other questions? If none, we'll need a motion to approve the recommendations.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? 4-0. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Apple Legal Authority, Danielle Weaver and Kendall McPeak.
Good morning. Danielle Weaver, Public Relations and Marketing, and I have Brad Turner here from Hub City Mobile, and then Kendall is with us today too. Currently, the county's ag tourism application needs updated, and for security and proprietary reasons, Apple requires mobile application owners to be enrolled participants in the Apple developer programs. The county's participation in the Apple developer programs requires a legally authorized agent to be identified to Apple for purposes of owning and maintaining mobile applications with Apple. And currently, the county's ag tourism mobile application can't be updated until Apple's requirements are satisfied. And in order for the update to happen to the ag tourism mobile application or to develop any new iOS applications, which we're working on, we want to do a countywide app. We must submit under a dedicated Apple developer account for Washington County government. And so the board's delegation of legal authority as requested in a draft, you guys have a draft form of the letter we would like to send to Apple. It would allow us to be able to update this, and we would be under the county attorney's. We would sign under the county attorney's office. Any of the legal agreements. This is your document? So currently, everything, if you want to speak to this, the app is hosted under Hub City Mobile, and we can't update it until we satisfy Apple's terms.
So basically, previously, when we would develop mobile applications, we could develop them under our developer account, our company's developer account. Apple has changed their terms of service where the content owners of the application has to also be the owner of the developer account, just so there's no confusion of who is the owner of the content within the application. So basically, it was just a fundamental change that Apple made in the past year since we initially developed the app, where the owner of the app's content also needs to be the owner of the developer account.
Currently, the board, of course, holds the legal authority to, present itself as the owner to Apple and to sign all documents, including legal documents that would enable the county to work with Apple. And Danielle would
then have the ability to do what she needs to do to update the agritourism app, as well as develop further the countywide app that they are envisioning right now. So the bottom line request is that we are asking either that the board vote to give Danielle your legal authority, to delegate that legal authority to her to act as the agent for the county in your stead to work with Apple on these issues, including, signing legal agreements, which would only be done, pursuant to the review of our office. Or if you choose not to delegate the authority, then just understand that the board retains that authority, and then we would work directly, the county attorney's office would work directly with President Baker signing on behalf of the board to sign all documents that Apple would put before us to proceed with maintaining and owning apps with Apple.
And everything would be directed through the attorney's office?
Yes, either way, it's going to be directed through our office.
But it'll give Danielle as
Right.
The authority to go ahead and talk directly to Apple and talk to you about what our app needs to be and when they need to make minor changes to it. Obviously, she would come to us and we would approve any agreement, but it would allow her to do that, allow us to do it at a staff level and not have to come back to the board every time.
And the initial letter that we'd be sending is drafted in your packet.
And the information that's contained in that letter is information that's specifically set out practically word for word by Apple for what it requires to proceed.
Okay, any questions, commissioners?
So when Danielle retires in 30 or 40 years from now, right?
Yes.
Another person would be designated. Does that have to come through her? Does that come through the board?
Well, looking 30, 40 years down the road, the proper course of action would probably be that the county would give notice to Apple that the delegated legal authority has changed. Okay. And you would go through the process of just redesignating, assuming that's the same process after that length of time. Okay. But I understand your question. It could be, however many years for whatever reason. But I think the onus would be on us, the county, to say, look, our delegated authority has changed. What do we need to do with Apple to have that reflected in your record? It would be an administrative thing.
Yeah. And when you're delegating authority to Danielle, but it's Danielle in her capacity as public relations and marketing director. So we're really, she's in that position now. But, so we're not giving it to her individually to go and do it.
She's acting as the agent on behalf of the county.
Okay, any other questions? If none, need a motion to approve.
So moved.
Motion and a second. Any further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed?